Hi, it's Richard here from Intelligent Advisor IT Consulting, talking about using Oracle Identity Cloud to secure access to interviews. So here I am in my IDCS instance, and I am going to begin the whole process in IDCS by creating what is known as a confidential application. And that's kind of the connection between the users and groups that might be listed here in IDCS and the workspace and interview that you have over in OIA. So it's called a confidential application. It's in the application section. You can give it any name you like, and obviously add a lucid description. The first key is the application URL. And yeah, I'm getting old, so I forget these. So it won't do you any good trying to use these because, well, I'll switch it off by the time I finish the demo. Notice how it has the web determinations on the end because I'm securing interviews, not the determination server. So the only thing that would be different in your case would be obviously the root of your OIA instance. When we've done that, there's really nothing else that you need to enter here unless you're doing something very sophisticated. So you have custom redirects when people log out, and this is all IDCS focused stuff, so we don't really need to worry about it in step one. Step two is now, okay, I want to configure how people can access my interviews. They can access it through client credentials. I allow refresh tokens, and it is going to use a authorization code in some cases, but not in the demo that I'm going to do. The redirect URL is the same root, just with authenticate/IDCS on the end. So you just need to add that. And you can move straight on to part 3, which is the resources. You need to check that box. If you put that you are going to use refresh tokens, you need to check this box to say refresh tokens are allowed. The primary audience will once again be the same default web determinations URL that you had before. And probably the most important point is the scope. The scope is really just a word, a term that you're going to use to connect this particular application, this confidential application, to a particular set of workspaces in OIA. It can be anything you like, but I'm going to keep it as I did interview scope. The rest you can ignore until you reach the end, and you need to say yes, obviously enforce this. So when you click save the last time, or whatever it is, finish, you will get yourself a client ID and a client secret. You'll need both of those later on for your OIA connection. Now, obviously, in this case, we haven't got as far as creating users in IDCS, so obviously you're going to need to add a few users here. So I'm going to add a user. I'll do it later. I'll do it now. And then when you've added the users, you click the activate button, which I clicked before I added the users, which was rather stupid of me. So these are my IDCS users. I'm going to actually add a couple. And then I'm going to go back and configure OIA. While we're here, incidentally, you can take a moment to copy the blah, 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 IDCS, blah, 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 oraclecloud.com from the address bar, because you're going to need that in a minute. Now I'm back in OIA, and here I have a workspace, which, as you can see currently, doesn't have a authorization provider. So let's set one up. I go in here, and I create an authorization provider. I can give it any name I like. The URL will be the root of your IDCS. So up to this point, I was just mentioning, you can always go and copy that. The scope is going to have to be the word that you use or the term that you used when you created scope in your IDCS application. And then you have your client ID and your client secret, which of course should never normally be shown on a video in YouTube, or indeed, for that matter, ever shared with anyone ever. But it doesn't matter, it's a demo, and it's going to be shut down in just a moment anyway. So I'm going to apply that. So now I've created my provider. I can go back to my workspace, and I can hook the workspace up with my provider. So this is the joining area. So it's basically, I choose the provider for the workspace. So all the other workspaces that haven't used this are going to be behaving completely normally. But this workspace is now restricted through this authorization provider. So you can apply this to as many workspaces as you want. And you can have different providers with different users and different groups for different workspaces. You see where this is going. I have a deployment here, which is currently residing in this workspace. So I should be able to now test that interview launch and see what happens in different circumstances. So at the moment, I'm already logged into IDCS, so I'm going to open this up. And because I'm already logged into IDCS, there's already an authorization token because I'm logged into IDCS. So with a bit of luck, 3, 2, 1, hop, there we go. I can see the interview because I've already authenticated or authorized myself through IDCS. If I go to an incognito window, which will not see that I'm logged into IDCS, and I use the same URL, I get redirected to the authorization provider, which is IDCS. And it's only if I was to log in and with my username and password for IDCS that I would be able to see the interview. That's how it works. Nice and easy, simple to set up. And of course, this is a very basic implementation, so there's no SAML federation behind the scenes, but there could be. I hope you enjoyed this simple walkthrough of how to set up IDCS and OIA. See you again soon. Bye-bye.